All right, thank you very much, Marissa. So they are performing tomorrow night at the Arts Center in Scranton, and their 7th studio album is out, Back to Life, out now. That we have in our studio, Mike, Joe, Marshall, Justin, and Cody. It's Hinder. Yay! Good morning, gentlemen. Oh, let me turn this on. That might help. How you guys doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Man. Great to have you here. I am going to dive right in with a question you guys have heard 1,000 times, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Uh-oh.
Joe, how did you get the nickname Joe Blower? Tell us that story, Joe. Come on, man.
I guess we always have to decide, do we tell the real story or the story that we...
Please use euphemisms or anything that you need to explain that, but that's a great nickname.
Nickname I had, I guess, since a kid, and I had a lot of gas back then.
That'll work. That'll work. You and our friend Casey Boy here will get along wonderfully.
Maybe I should be known as Casey Blower.
Yeah. How long has the group been together? How long officially? I mean, you guys are originally from Oklahoma City?
Yeah, Blower and I met in college in 2001.
Wow.
So that was a long time ago.
You just dated yourself.
I was so surprised to learn about the a couple decades of the band, and we're familiar with it. Play here on MMR, and you have a solid fan base. I wanted to bring up something. Somebody texted me, and I thought this was hilarious. You guys on your website offer a T-shirt, and the Divorced Dad Rock is what it's called. And is that an inside joke, or is it? Do you think that describes the music that you guys do, Divorced Dad Rock?
Yeah, I think it's like a genre that somebody just kind of came up with online, and we thought it was funny. So we ran with it.
It's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Some people get offended by that.
Really?
Like women especially.
Whoever started it, I think, was intended to be a diss. And a lot of these bands that were around whenever we came out that are getting labeled that, they don't like it, but we love it. We're running with it.
To me, it's like yacht rock. Yacht rock. There's a lot of yacht rock bands that we love. Yeah. So they took what might have been a pejorative and turned it into a positive.
Absolutely.
But Donald Fagen still hates it.
He still hates it. Yeah, I guess to each his own.
Some people like it, some people don't. Whatever moniker you end up with.
Exactly. I think a little self-deprecation. Like we had the Nickelback guys, and we chatted in here a couple times, and they have fun with that. I think that's the best way to own it and just proceed. But the longevity of the band and changing throughout the years and getting to this point, the actual name of the album, does that have some influence on where you find yourselves now, where you feel you are as a creative band and a thriving band?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for us, this kind of feels like a resurgence.
Yeah.
We kind of feel rock as a whole has kind of come back. And so for us, it kind of, I don't know, we feel a little different than we did 5 years ago. Things feel good again. So
you know what I liked as I was doing the setup, and it's nice to say this, that the new album is out now. The album, full tracks and not a single release, which is, I mean, how do you guys feel about that? I know it's the nature of the business and the way things operate for most people now is a track at a time or a handful or an EP or something like that. Do you feel you're more album oriented?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're used to, but more importantly, I think that's what our fan base is used to. For me, I'm a little torn, to be honest. When you do a full album, it just kind of feels like a lot of those really good tracks that are later in the album kind of get lost. And, it feels like people don't hear them as much as opposed to when you do put out singles. But like I said, I think our fan base is used to the album format, and that's the most important thing to us. So that's what we're doing.
I was reading that you had actually during COVID recorded an album that has yet to see the light of day. Correct?
Yeah, I don't know that it ever will, to be honest with you.
Why is that?
It just didn't feel right.
Didn't feel right?
Yeah, when we were trying to do something that was a little more geared toward the first album.
Yeah.
And, once we got it finished, we kind of realized that's really not who we are as a band anymore. So it didn't really feel authentic. So we kind of just threw it back on the hard drive and started over.
So the songs got scrapped? I mean, because you can re-record and re-tinker and make them something else if you need to, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance we may go revisit it. Some songs anyway. We were Marshall and I were listening to some of those demos, or I guess recordings, the other day, and we might kind of recycle
there's some
some
good elements. There's just some updating that needs to happen to some of them, and
Like removing the word pandemic? Would that be?
Yeah. But no, I mean, sometimes it's really hard to rework a song after you're familiar with it. It's hard to, when you write a chorus and decide that you don't like it, then trying to reimagine something after it's already in your head is a bit of a challenge. So, but we've done that successfully in the past, so we'll see.
Are you guys now? Listen, I'm out of touch with the world of labels and things like that, record labels and so on. I haven't been on that side of the business in a long, long time. Are you on a label, or do you guys release your own stuff?
Yeah, we're on a label right now. It's a little boutique label called Evil Teen.
What did they think about when you said, "No, we're not going to release any of those, any of that stuff we spent all this money recording"?
Well, they came after the fact, so.
Oh, okay. All right.
And we don't really care what they say anyway.
All right.
Well, let me ask to that point. And I was reading an interview, and I think the name of the song was "Live Without It," and you had actually recorded it one way, went out, and after performing it live for a while, you modified it in a way you really liked, and then went back into the studio to re-record it. Is that something you'd like to have the potential to avail yourself of more, or is that just an anomaly and a one-off, or is that the road to tearing all your hair out if you constantly are modifying songs because you like the way they are performed live?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, if something needs to be done, we're always down to get it done the right way. But
what made
we'll
that
try
one
to avoid
unique?
it.
What made that one unique that you had to go back?
That one was actually a song called "Everything Is a Cult." We had actually re-recorded it out in L.A. with another producer, and we left this hole in the song, thinking that they would want to, participate in the creation of the song, and they didn't offer anything. So it ended up being this kind of generic sounding guitar solo.
Yeah.
And we just weren't happy with it. It just didn't take the song where it needed to be. And so when we went back home and rewrote the section, it kind of, I don't know, gave the song a new life, I guess.
I just think on a basic level, and the way our motto is, it's this is as good as you're going to get. We'll got hand wring over certain things, but I mean, when you hear stories of like Springsteen and doing take after take after take and spending all this time in the studio, and I think the music is your creation, your artistic statement, and I think to me the hardest part would be. I'm stepping away now. It's done. It's finished. No matter who the producer is, you're the guys who are ultimately responsible for the way it sounds. Did you have to develop those muscles, or is that still a work in progress?
You mean to be happy with the final product?
Yeah.
You can always find something that you wish you would have done differently. But after a while, what's really weird is when you don't listen to your record for a long time and you go back, you forget some things that happen in it that you might kind of make you cringe a little bit, that you don't notice when you put it out. But it's kind of there's nothing you could do about it at that point. So.
Yeah. And I've read from other artists that sometimes if you keep going back to the music and inspecting it, you can over-engineer it a little bit too much. Why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? You know what I mean?
Done it 100 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then doesn't it ultimately it's going to reflect in the live show, and then you're able to do whatever you want in the live show. You know what I mean? So if there was something you would like to tweet, the studio thing is done. That's in the past, but everything in the present, you can do whatever you want with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny, like how you'll put out a song and you'll start to play it like pretty close to the recording, and then over time, one night you'll do something a little bit different, and then you'll just keep doing that, and then it'll just keep going, and then before you know it, like it's a completely different sounding song, and you forget how it used to be.
And are you walking the tightrope at that time because people go? It's a big complaint. They played it, but they didn't play the way it is on the album, and yet you want to play it and stretch it a little bit. Is it hard finding that fine line?
I don't think we really stray enough that anybody else would really notice, but it's stuff that we definitely
that you notice.
Yeah.
Cody, as a fellow drummer, I want to say how nice it is to have the spokesperson of the band being the drummer of the band. They normally come in here, they bring a cajon, they sit on a box for 20 minutes, and we don't get to talk to them, so it's nice to have that.
He's hidden all night, so
yeah, right.
We decided to let him get out.
You got to let him out.
They let me talk. I like it.
All right, well, we're ready for some music. What would you guys, we're going to hear 2 songs this morning. What are we going to get first?
I think we're going to do Bring Me Back to Life first.
Excellent. All right, if you're tuning in just now, we're talking to Hinder. They're going to be performing at the Arts Center in Scranton tomorrow night. You can get tickets at hindermusic.com. This is Hinder on MMR.
to say that I really wanna put in a song. And there are days that I feel like maybe I've been living too long. And it's hard to find a reason when you feel like all the meaning is gone. I'm in a phase now. I've been for days now. Can you pick me up, baby? Make me feel crazy. Turn me on later tonight. Can you make me wanna fight or tear me down and cry? Or make me wanna come back to life? I wanna want, I wanna need, I wanna feel even if I have to bleed. Can you piss me off and make me feel angry? Make me feel something inside. Can you bring me back to life? 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 I've run out of desire and it's left me here with nothing to prove. I wanna feel like I'm alive and feel like I have something to lose. And it's hard to get somewhere when you never feel like making a move. Ooh, I wanna care now, but I just sit and stare now. Can you pick me up, baby? Make me feel crazy. Turn me on later tonight. Can you make me wanna fight or tear me down and cry? Or make me wanna come back to life? I wanna want, I wanna need, I wanna feel even if I have to bleed. Can you piss me off and make me feel angry? Make me feel something inside. Can you bring me back to life? Can you bring me back to life? I wake up and lonely and sad and I only wanna feel good again. Like me again. And tell me a story. Is there something more to me than emptiness? Can I catch my breath? Can you bring me back to life? Can you pick me up, maybe make me feel crazy? Turn me on later tonight. Can you make me wanna fight or tear me down and cry? Or make me wanna come back to life? I wanna want, I wanna need, I wanna feel even if I have to bleed. Can you piss me off and make me feel angry? Make me feel something inside. Can you bring me back to life? Can you bring me back to life? Can you bring me back to life? And I'll bring you back to life. Can you bring me back to life? Can you bring me back to life?
Yeah. Hinder. 93.3 WMMR. It's everything that rocks. I mean, safe to say that's the title track of the album, Bring
Yes,
Me Back
sir.
to Life. The song, the album is Back to Life. And they're going to be playing at the Performing Arts Center in Scranton. The show is tomorrow night. For a band that's been around for, a good stretch, how's your touring game, driving around, living with each other and that whole thing? Has it gotten better over the years, or are there other issues that come up if you've been doing it for a long time?
Oh, we've had to make some adjustments,
Can you name one without starting a fight?
but we're doing good.
Something really good happened in 2013. We
What?
got a lot better then.
No, it's true.
We
Listen,
get along well. We're buddies. We do a lot of drinking and have too much fun.
Is that when Marshall became a member of the band?
Yes, sir.
2013? Okay. I got it.
Roundabout, yeah.
Can I ask something to that point too? When you come in as a singer, and Marshall, you said vocally you weren't it wasn't like a Phil Collins to Peter Gabriel, the same vocal sort of sound. It was different. So when you're presented with this chore and you were in a band and you producing and you knew these guys as well, do you say, geez, do I need to do an imitation? How do you approach that when that's your charge?
Man, it was confusing at first because I was just kind of terrified. I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea, guys. Like, this could be tomatoes for me, because I don't sound anything like that guy. And for a while I did, but I just, even when I try to sound really raspy and stuff, sometimes it sounds a little forced and it's a little tough. And it's definitely hard to do live consistently, so I sing a little cleaner live. But
right.
You know what? The fans really embraced me, and it's been mostly positive. I mean, obviously there's tons of hate online too about it, but
it's now many years now.
Yeah, but now it's kind of like my thing. There's fans that come out that are just fans of my era of the band too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I've actually been in the band longer at this point now.
There you go. So screw it.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, when making a personnel change, for the rest of the guys in the band, stepping into something like that, how scary is that?
That was terrifying.
Yeah.
We didn't know if our career was over at that point or not, know. But
sounds like it was a mental health move, though, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
And it was, it was really tough at first. I'm not going to lie. It was, it was like going through a divorce, to be honest. But we luckily, Marshall was right there, and he had been a part of the family for so long that it made, that part made it easy and it felt comfortable. So, we knew we had a good teammate, and that's the most important thing.
What's your guys' writing dynamic like? Is it get together and jam, see what happens? Is it somebody is the main songwriter and then presents the ideas? How do you work it out?
Yeah, Marshall and I usually kind of just start with an acoustic guitar or a piano or whatever, and just kind of build the song from there, and that's usually how it goes.
Is it we're going to go sit and write, or you're just sitting backstage and noodling, or how rigid are you with the approach to writing?
Well, I think it's kind of like we usually get together with the intention of writing a song, but all along the way we're both like making little notes when we're inspired, putting voice memos in our phones.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, I have this idea, and this, you'll kind of have a verse chorus or something, and then we finish writing the song together.
Some of my favorite moments out of rock history are when somebody has a scrap of an idea. They're a little embarrassed about it, and they don't really, think it's going to go anywhere. And somebody says, wait a minute, hang on a minute. Play that little part again.
Yeah.
And then it turns out to be, Brown Sugar or some gigantic, massive hit from a band. I think it was like Anthony Kiedis, Red Hot Chili Peppers had Under the Bridge written. And he's like, I don't really want to. And I think it was Rick Rubin or whoever was like, excuse me, you need to work on this. Do you guys support each other in that way? It's like, hang on, don't throw that away.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's really interesting how, when you have an idea, you hear it one way, and then when you play it for somebody else, especially when it's in a demo phase or just really rough, they may hear it in a completely different context and take it in a completely different direction. So that's why it's important to collaborate.
Yeah, and you have to be open to that too, because even if you're embarrassed by it, it's still kind of your baby, something that you came up with, but maybe handing it over to somebody and letting them steer it where it may want to go.
Yeah, man, when you're in the middle of songwriting, like, you have to let the ego go, because we say some really brutal things to each other when we're writing.
We were just talking to somebody, I forget who it was, Preston, a major artist, and he was saying essentially that he had to develop that muscle that just said, okay, you don't get too precious about anything, and you realize it's a collaborative effort. Right? And you got to learn how to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, if you say something and nobody likes it, you just got to move on. You can't sit there and be like, man,
son of a bitch.
That guy.
It doesn't always
hated
work.
That guy.
It doesn't always work, though. I remember Marshall and I were doing a writing session with another band, and we were trying to come up with this one line, and we got in this like knockdown, drag out fight, or what, I messed that up, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
About the word like the or and, or it was the dumbest thing ever, and we were yelling at each other, and those other people were just sitting in the corner like, oh no, I think we just broke up Hinder.
It can happen over little bitty things like that, man. It definitely has. All right, what's the next song we're going to hear this morning? What would you guys like to play?
I guess we're gonna do a little acoustic version of "Get Stoned" just to do an oldie.
All right. I love that. Get stoned. All right. They're going to be performing, like I said, at the Performing Arts Center in Scranton. HinderMusic.com to get the tickets. That is tomorrow night. So once again, this is Hinder on MMR.
It's not perfect or perfected till my heart explodes. I highly doubt that I can make it through another of your episodes. But lashing out, one of the petty moves you pull before you lose control. But you wear me out. But it's alright now. Well, let's go home and get stoned. But we could end up making love into the misery. Go home and get stoned, because the sex is so much better when you're mad at me. And you wear me out. But it's alright now. Without a doubt, all the regulars with the mango sex you're giving me, let's hash it out. Cause you're bitching and you're yelling don't mean anything. Don't count me out, cause I can handle all the baggage that you're carrying. But you wear me out. But it's alright now. Well, let's go home and get stoned. Or we could end up making love into the misery. Go home and get stoned, cause the sex is so much better when you're mad at me. And you wear me out. Making love instead of misery. But it's alright now. Get stoned, but we could end up making love instead of misery. Go home and get stoned, because the sex is so much better when you're mad at me. Go home and get stoned, but we could end up making love instead of misery. Go home and get stoned, cause the sex is so much better when you're mad at me. And you wear me out. But it's alright now, yeah. And let's go home and get stoned. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's go home and get stoned. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's go home and get stoned. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. Hinder, 93.3 WMMR. It is everything that rocks. Get stoned. I was watching our YouTube feed, and a number of people are getting stoned right now because you decided to play that song. And maybe that, have you ever thought about a little inspiration to fire up whenever they hear that song?
Yeah, I'm about to go do that right after.
Well, at this point, you can have your own line and your own product, and why not?
We've talked about a drink with a buddy back home. We'll see if we can make it happen.
We had Urkel in here. Jaleel
White. Yeah.
He has his own Ganj, yeah.
Yeah, it's called Purple Urkel.
That's
So
awesome.
Phenomenal name, right?
Purple Urkel. That's his line.
Isn't that great?
Yep.
All right.
Marshall, how old were you when you first sang in front of an audience?
Oh God, I don't know. Probably in my teen years.
Yeah, I'm
Early teens.
listening to you sing. You got a really, really beautiful, clean voice, and I'm just wondering, like, who were you singing along to first when you go, wait a second, I can sing.
Well, I grew up. My mom was in a gospel band. So
Oh, wow.
I grew
Yeah.
up. I was like when I was like 5 years old, I was sitting under the table listening to them practice.
I love that stuff.
Thanks.
We had so many musicians in here, and the thing that I love the most is when they're just doing it at home in the living room, like collectively with their family. And so we have a former coworker of ours. His wife's family is from West Virginia, and they go down, for these family things, and they had these little jamborees, and I love that because I didn't have, maybe a little bit of that, in my household. The family parties, somebody break out the guitars. That's just so much fun.
Did you guys come from a musical family where that was the inspiration? It was easy to pick that up. Joe, you're shaking your head yes? Or nodding your head yes?
Yeah, my father played guitar, so that's where I learned it from him.
Nice. And were you farting to keep the rhythm?
He was the tuba.
That's it. He was.
That's where the name Joe Blower
Human tuba
came from.
I love that.
Nailed it.
By the way, Mike, you were kind of off hidden away while the people were curious where the mystery voice was coming from in the video, and then they finally showed you, so everybody was happy.
I walked up to the camera and put my face in it. Yeah, that's me.
I
didn't realize
exist.
it until I got up to it.
I'm here.
Got to fight for every second.
Yeah.
That's right. Bass players get dissed all the time.
Totally,
Hey,
man.
there it was.
Do you ever notice? Okay, in the movie The Wonders, you know that film.
Oh, yeah.
So in the movie, they never give the bass player name. They just call him the bass player.
That thing you do.
It was That Thing You Do. I'm sorry,
yeah,
not The
yeah,
Wonders.
yeah.
And at the end, the credits, his character is TB player. You knew that, right?
The bass
As
player.
in the bass player.
Oh, man.
And it was Tom Hanks's commentary on how the bass player always gets kind of screwed.
Oh, yeah. He got way more love than I do.
I always used to hear the joke Preston that used to be, and I don't know if this is the case, but who's the guy who travels with the band? The drummer.
Right. Yeah, the drummer. We get crapped on too.
Yeah.
It happens. But well, listen, you can come and see the entire band. The whole studio album, Back to Life, is out now. So make sure that you grab that, download it. Like it, do whatever you need to do. Follow these guys on social as well. But you can see them live. They'll be at the Performing Arts Center in Scranton tomorrow night. And you can go to hindermusic.com to get your tickets, and please do.
And I think you guys are in Gettysburg the following night. So, people listening right now, if they can't make it to Scranton tomorrow night, Gettysburg, I believe, on Saturday.
Yeah.
But
Something like that.
A lot of fans listening. So, yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys getting up early, coming by to pay a visit. Thank you so much. I know it's not the rock star time right now.
having
Well,
us.
thank
We
you for
appreciate
having
it.
us.
Absolutely.
We're
Thanks for being
glad
here.
to be here.
Let's give some love to Hinder, everybody.